All right. This is now our What We've Been Watching section. Matt. No, Mark, because you haven't watched a lot. Mark, what kind of stuff have you been watching, reading, playing, anything, sleeping?
Smoking.
That's it, snorting.
I watched one movie since our last review. I watched Network again, the 1976 film that won a bunch of Oscars. Stars Faye Dunaway, Robert Duvall, Peter Finch, and some other actors that I can't remember their names. I talked about recently on previous episodes, broadcast news. This is such just a complete opposite in terms of what the message is of what broadcast news is. Because as I've said on previous episodes, broadcast news is about the integrity of journalists and maintaining that integrity. And Network is all about corruption and money and how the world works. And I really like, politics and, taking a closer look at how things work, I guess. And this film is just like my cup of tea.
Yeah, Mark's a proud member of the anti-vax community.
Do not ever associate me with those people ever again.
If I knew how to edit, I'd put a giant big stamp on Mark's side of the camera that just says anti-vax.
Yeah,
don't ever do that. Do not. I will sue you for slander. It's so good. I heard about this film through Roger Ebert. I mean, when I started my journey into looking at older films, my guide was Roger Ebert's The Great Movies, and Network was one of them. Robert Duvall is so good in it. I mean, he's most commonly known as the consigliere in The Godfather, and the corporal who's like, I love the smell of napalm in the morning in Apocalypse Now.
I know who Robert Duvall is.
He's in Robert Downey Jr.'s 2014 The Judge.
Oh, be quiet.
That's the only movie that Tyler's seen with him in it.
And so this movie has so many monologues, so many long monologues, and they're all incredible.
Who's it written
this
by?
is one of I don't know. I gotta look it up.
Who's it directed by?
Sidney Lumet.
Oh, okay.
And it's one of the best screenplays I've seen ever. It's so good. So good. I think there's 6 monologues or something like that. It's
written
it's
by
absurd.
Patty Chayefsky, who has done movies at Altered States, Marty, The Hospital. Yeah, he's done a lot of stuff.
So yeah, that's what I watched. I don't think I'll recommend that on this channel anytime soon, but I would highly recommend my fellow film Freudians to check it out.
What is that? What are you saying about us that we won't watch movies from 1971? You
guys don't watch anything that's before 1990.
I've watched them if they're in Italian.
Yeah.
You watched an Italian?
La Notte.
Oh, okay.
Wait, I watched the movie from 1986 and 1995. Wait, that's not before 1990.
Hey, I know. I'm gonna talk a movie that's from 1971. So.
That's the same year. All right, Mark.
I know what you watched.
Did Tyler tell you?
Wait,
no. I know what you watched though.
Okay.
Wait, I don't even know what you watched.
Well, if it's my segment now, I watched A Clockwork Orange.
Yes.
Oh my God! I forgot about that.
Oh man, Matt, give it to me. What do you think of A Clockwork Orange?
So, I like it. I need to watch it again. I need to clarify that this is one of my favorite books of all time.
Oh, whoa, that cover's really cool.
Yeah, I got it in Oxford. It's a Penguin's Library edition.
Okay.
I bought it for £8.
Damn.
And,
did you get it at the Corova Milk Bar?
That's a good. I kind of like mine a little bit more, to be honest, but I like the glass.
If I had my copy, I'd be holding it right now. I've read the book as well. I should.
But I like the movie a lot. I think it expertly adapts the setting and the dialogue. The dialects in this movie everything's excellently translated from the book, and I'm 100% satisfied with the way everyone portrays their character, especially Malcolm McDowell. McDowell as Alex. I think the movie sort of struggles, and when it breaks away from the book, I like the ending of the book much more than the ending of the movie. And I think because the book is relatively short and it's so compact and it's basically perfect. And I think where the movie struggles is where Kubrick tries to stretch things out longer than they need to be. So I kind of lost some of the pace there. But I mean, and I was a little disappointed with the ending. Yeah, I like the ending to the movie, but I think the ending to the book is so brilliant. And I don't want to spoil it because I know Tyler hasn't seen either. But
Thank you.
I need to rewatch it knowing that it's different from the book. But
yeah.
As I will say for not right now, though, I do enjoy the book more than the movie. I don't know if Mark, you want to talk about it, I can tell.
I don't want to like get too in depth about it now because I want Tyler to be, have the full experience when he goes through the book and the film.
In like 10 years when he gets there.
Yeah. But I there's a whole story behind Kubrick's choices that I'm really excited to fill you in. I think like for my next director, we'll do Kubrick and Clockwork Orange, for me at least, will be Clockwork Orange will be one of them, and we can go fully in depth because there's so outside of the scope of the film, there's so much to discuss. And I'm really happy that you watched it. We gotta talk about it.
I'm definitely glad I watched it.
Yeah. I watched the film before I read the book, and I was like, I mean, Matt, you sort of knew what to expect going in, but I was like, holy shit, this is a depraved film.
Yes.
The first 30 minutes, the first act.
I get to see it. It's so brutal having like, at least like in the book, like there's some vagueness to it. In the movie, like you just see everything. It's a lot.
It's
but like
so
again,
violent.
like Kubrick just totally understands how to adapt. Like I thought, like because this is such like a unique book, and I think Kubrick excellently adapts like the tone and the setting of this book, perfectly.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with that. My next choice is, but I'm definitely I'm excited for when we do Clockwork Orange because I really want to rewatch it, knowing that there are some differences. I also rewatched Drive. Nicholas Winding Refn's Drive.
Yeah.
And I haven't watched the movie since middle school actually.
Wow.
And
like 2012.
Yeah, like this is like the first like artsy movie I think I've ever seen, and it definitely holds up. This is Nicholas Winding Refn's best movie, I would say. I got to rewatch his other movies because it's been a while, but I don't think they're going to be as good as Drive. And then I have to shout out Cliff Martinez's score because this kind of introduced me to synthwave music. And this guy who scored this movie has done so many great synth soundtracks, like most specifically The Nick, which is one of my favorite TV shows. I think it's the most underrated TV show ever. And like with this movie, I forgot how good Ryan Gosling is. I forgot how like kind of like unhinged his character was. Like he's kind of like really innocent in a lot of ways, but then like when he gets into that violent mode, he's terrifying.
It's the first scene at the bar where he's like, "Why don't you go get away from me? I'll kick your teeth down your fucking skull or whatever." Yeah, and you're just like, "Oh, okay." You're like, "Great."
Right before that, he's like all happy with Carey Mulligan's character and and like the little kid. And Oscar Isaac is really great. Like you can never tell if he's legit or not. Yeah, which I think is great because it's very much a cliche to have like the criminal come home and he pretends like he's a good guy, but really he's not. He's just putting on a show for his family and friends. But with him, it's like in the performance, like there's so much gray area with his character, and I thought like he was so hard to read, and I really appreciated that.
Well, Tyler. There's those two great scenes where he like kind of like sizes up Ryan Gosling, where he comes over and he's like, "I heard you've been coming over and taking care of them," and you can see it's like that little like subtle macho kind of like he's like, "Thanks, well I'm here now," and then like the next time you see him, he's like beaten up, like and like just bloody, and his son is like peering away from the corner, and you're just like, oh, it's great.
So I'm definitely glad I rewatched because I had really high expectations going into rewatching it, and it definitely lived up to everything. This is one of the most influential movies for me personally, as in like why I like movies today. And then finally, I watched on Tyler's recommendation, The Man from Nowhere from South Korea. Yeah. And I thought it was fine. I thought you're higher in this movie than I am. I thought there were a lot of like really big kind of like I thought there were a lot of tropes in the movie that I didn't really like, and it's played like a PG-13 movie all the way up to the end. Well, other than a couple scenes in like the beginning, but it's relatively tame in the fight scenes. And the end happens and it's awesome.
Oh my god!
But I don't think it's really worth the wait because there's a lot of like just kind of mundane fight scenes in it that I didn't think were that engaging. And I don't know, like especially because we had that revenge, like with like Old Boy. I was kind of expecting like some sort of twist to it. Yeah. But it's relatively straightforward, and I enjoyed watching it, but I don't think it's going to be like one that I'll rush to rewatch at any point.
There's a few scenes because Mark, I don't know if you're ever going to probably watch this movie. I doubt it. But there's a few scenes that I love when he goes out and his spoilers for The Man from Nowhere. It's on Amazon Prime, but spoilers, where he goes out and his wife is hit by the truck, and it's just like crumpled in. but it's all like shot in like one take.
Yeah.
It just comes and crushes, and he comes out and he gets shot. The final fight when like the knives are clinking together and you hear like the and it's scratching, and then it cuts like first person where they're all making moves, and it's very kind of like subtle. Again, I said on our last review, but when he's dragging the guy away and just slits his wrist a bunch.
Yeah, that was
like,
great.
I was like, this is awesome.
But there's so much, like, I feel like every fight scene prior to that was really awkward and not all that engaging.
I can understand that. I thought the character is really interesting, the main character in it. I found
he was just kind of like, I don't know, he was just kind of like guy who almost had it all and then could stay away from him at the last minute.
I may have been like swooning a bunch because that first time where he just like quickly takes the knife away from the guy.
Yeah.
Like I was like,
pretty cool.
I was like, that's my favorite. I was like, that's the best. But I understand you kind of going like, it's whatever. I'm not gonna fight you on it. What else did you watch, Matt?
That's it.
That's it. All right. Is that? Are you sure?
Yeah, that's it. I was watching the What We Do in the Shadows TV show on Hulu.
How was that?
It's okay. It kind of like it works better as a movie because like the jokes kind of like start to repeat a bit, but like it was decent.
I watched more movies than you guys did combined. I watched 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, including Punch Drunk Love. The first one is Man of Steel. Are you guys ready to have the Man of Steel? So
wait. Let's just let this sink in for a minute.
So for years,
this is a pivotal moment, and I can't wait to have this recorded
and documented. The movie came out in 2013, and I was like, "This is the greatest movie that's ever existed." And up until about 4 days ago, I was like, "Man of Steel's really good." And maybe I got a better taste in movies, but it's been about a year or two since I've watched it, and it's like decent at best. It's not a good movie, like I was saying it was. I gave it 3 out of 5 on Letterboxd because I do think it has some really cool stuff. I will die for Michael Shannon in this movie. He is so cool in this movie. He's so interesting. And
I will find him.
He is like so
Where were you born on a farm?
Where'd you train? On a farm? And it's just like, yes, but there's
literally a scene where he's giving his backstory to Henry Cavill.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's the worst moment of exposition ever.
No, it's lovely. I think he's like a wonderful villain. I think his purpose is like very clear, and I think he plays it. Michael Shannon just doesn't care. But there's that point where he's like holding the dust, and he's like, Krypton, that is my soul. That is what you took from me. He's like, I'm going to make them pay, Cal. There's humans that you've adopted. And I was
These
like,
humans had nothing to do with the downfall of Krypton.
Yeah, but it's like representative. There are times when this movie is the ugliest looking movie I've ever seen. And there are times when it's actually like decent looking. I've said before, but Zack Snyder can create scenes. And he can create engaging scenes, but he does not know how to create a cohesive movie of continuous
or like characters.
Thank you. I was going to get to that. I think Watchmen's a really great example of this, where Watchmen has a bunch of really amazing scenes, but they don't come together in a cohesive or good movie. I think Watchmen's probably.
Same thing can be said for Batman Superman as well. There's a lot of really good scenes that just don't work. In the vacuum of the movie.
So I completely agree. And I think this movie's no example to it. I think there's a lot of, again, this movie's like 50-50 for me. I think I like half of the Jonathan Kent stuff with Kevin Costner when he's just basically like they're kind of like building that like father-son relationship where I like the two dynamics if you get the Kevin Costner and the Russell Crowe. But then again, you have the stupid tornado scene and it's just like really dumb. And then you have.
Should I let those kids die?
Should I let those kids drown? And you're like, okay. But there's like kind of like questioning about like the man you want to be and kind of like being like a true kind of like person and a true hero and like, hey, you're given a gift and here for a reason and like, hey, I still want to be like his son, and I'm like, that's really dope. But then there's also like that backstory is used to mask the fact that there isn't a lot of like character. I like the fact that Superman's like a wanderer at the beginning and he's like this kind of like figure that like helps people and then like exposes himself a little bit and then disappears. Kind of like that. How does he get to the Arctic with the government people? I don't know. The ending, Smallville fight still just kicks ass. Smallville fight is so fucking cool and good and it's visually really cool. And watching Superman like beat people up is awesome. I kind of really dug it. The ending, like chaos that is the entire world blows up basically. There are good stuff in it and bad stuff in it. I still
mostly
really
bad.
I like when he like overcomes the world engine and like flies up. I think that's really cool. And then I like when he breaks Zod's neck. I mean, I think that's an interesting
Oh, that's
choice.
Zod's snapped neck.
I was waiting for that. I think that's
Matt,
an
laugh,
interesting.
please. Please laugh. Okay, thank you.
My
No, just got
baby!
stuck in eyes.
My favorite.
Yeah.
9/11.
I think there's a lot of good stuff in it. And
Did you watch the regular media review after?
I did not know because I've already come low enough on it. I didn't want to be convinced anymore.
No, you gotta watch it. That's like the best part of. That's like the best thing that kind of Man of Steel is their review.
Yeah. So it's like a 3 out of 5 movie for me.
The Zod snap neck. That was a first draft. I wrote it as a joke.
We love you.
It was a first draft.
So I also. So that
I'm
was
a good screenwriter. I have scripts going through Hollywood and through their trash cycles.
What else was I gonna say, Matt? I watched Thor: The Dark World, or Thor: The Dark is Thor.
Don't you dare slander the name
of
Thor.
I officially have seen and rewatched all of the MCU movies. What do you guys think are my lowest 3?
Black Panther.
I knew you were gonna say that. It's not Black Panther. I'll give you that. I have my lowest 3.
To me, Thor, because you stink.
No, Thor: The Dark World's 4.
Okay. What about Thor 1?
Thor 1 is 5.
Oh my god.
I'm thinking hard right
now. So
Captain America.
Captain Marvel, Captain America, the first Avenger.
Okay.
And then Age of Ultron.
All right, I have 3 is Far From Home, 2 is Ultron, 1 is Captain America. Captain Marvel, I mean. I don't like Captain Marvel. I think it's like their legitimate 1 misfire. Thor has like a legitimately terrible first half. And it's surprising how boring, bland, and just awkward it is. And then
is your neck hurt watching it?
What? Oh no, sorry, Thor: The Dark World. I meant
Thor:
The Dark. It's like legitimately terrible. Like first half, I could not believe it. Second half's kind of awesome. Second half's like kind of fun, but it's nothing like special. Like nothing like stands out about it. I remember really liking it in theaters, and then I haven't seen it since. And then I watched it, and that was it. Thor: The Dark World, and then I watched 3 more. Fuck, I watched a lot of movies. I watched Michael Mann's Heat, which is awesome. It's so good. Al Pacino is just like on cocaine the entire movie. He's just like he's off the rails, but it's a wonderful kind of like it came up with like the trope of that like the detectives catching a bad guy and the bad guys are like basically like 2 sides of the same coin, kind of stuff like that. It's almost 3 hours long, but the 3 hours is used to kind of like actually develop the relationships and these people and how they all interconnect, and it's really great. I'd recommend Heat. Everyone's seen it. It's Michael Mann's most famous movie. It's also probably my second favorite of his. Collateral's still my favorite. And then I watched another Michael Mann movie. I watched Manhunter, which is basically like the first iteration of the Hannibal Lecter story. It's based off Red Dragon, Matt, with a tooth fairy. Matt,
Delora Hyde.
Yes. Matt, if you really like Red Dragon, I would recommend this, because there's a legitimate few really disturbing scenes in the movie.
You gotta watch Hannibal season 3, dude.
I gotta watch Hannibal season 3.
I'll watch Manhunter because I like.
Oh, I did it. Manhunter is like a really. It basically like helped create the forensic genre. Like it's basically like everything we have now, like CSI, Law and Order, even the Silence of the Lambs and the Hannibal TV show, all originate from Manhunter. And you can definitely kind of feel it's like creating a genre. It's not the best movie. Its editing is like legitimately terrible. There are like a lot of like weird consistencies. And the final 5-minute confrontation is it's the awkwardest editing I've ever seen. It's so bad. It's so awful that it takes all the weight out of this final confrontation. It also has a kick-ass score. I just want to throw that out there. And then I watched Magnolia, which Mark.
Tell me about it.
It's probably Paul Thomas Anderson's magnum opus.
It probably is.
I think he even said after the movie came out, he's like, I'm not gonna make a better movie than this. It's
yeah.
like,
yeah.
It's basically 3 hours of just like raw emotion. Like everyone is just like a nerve that's just like constantly being hit. Every single person is just like incredibly fascinating, well developed, well realized, with like a concrete kind of like structure and like an interwoven story, and it's just wonderful. It also has one of the biggest points at the end of the movie, about 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Don't say anything.
I'm not gonna. Where I went, where I went, what the fuck is happening? There's
It's a movie about coincidence.
It's a movie about coincidence. There's a point where there's a sing-along in the movie at one point. You're like 2 hours in and all the characters are singing the same song. You're like, what the fuck is this? Coincidence. I love Tom Cruise in this movie because he's like he's legitimately phenomenal. And it's not like, oh, a Tom Cruise is like being Tom Cruise. There are long monologues where it's just him, and he has to act, and he has to go through like a cavalcade of emotions, and it's wonderful. And he's jacked in this movie. He is so jacked. He's like in an interview, and he's like, oh, like razzed up. Matt, Tom Cruise plays a one of those like pickup artist people who's like really skeevy. His
like
thing,
a pickup artist life coach.
Yeah, and his thing is called like seduce and destroy. And his line he says often, and it's vulgar, it's respect the cock and tame the cunt. And there's like he's saying that, and there's like, oh my god. But it's like everyone.
No wonder why you liked him so much.
I know. There's a point where he like mimics like. It wasn't a joke to me.
Deplorable character.
John C. Reilly is wonderful.
So good. He's so good.
So good in this movie.
John C. Reilly's really like, from watching
Boogie Nights.
Like you can just tell he's a really good actor, and it's just too bad that he does a lot of stupid comedies.
You should watch Magnolia if this is like him at his peak. He's really great in The Sisters Brothers, which came out in 2018. But this is
Heart
like,
8.
He's really good in Heart 8 too. But Heart 8 feels like I don't care about the lobster.
Well, we could all be birds so we can all talk to each other.
Shut up.
You got a lisp.
What about Holmes and Watson?
Oh, the best performance.
Step Brothers.
That's a good performance though.
He's the guy who plays who's the main guy in Heart 8, the old guy, who's great in this.
Philip Baker Hall.
Yeah, Philip Baker Hall. Thank you. There's like this wonderful like kid show element to it, which is like a connecting. It's so great, and it's like the fastest moving 3-hour like movie I've ever seen. It
doesn't feel like 3 hours.
It's like it's so much faster paced than like Endgame. Like Endgame went slower than this if you think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Like it ended, and I was like, oh my god, I have to watch this again. Watch Magnolia. It's probably That's the thing though. Magnolia is wonderful, and it's probably his best movie, but I think I like The Master a little bit more.
Yeah, and also he's changed. I think Paul Thomas Anderson said he's like most proud of The Master, but like Magnolia was his best made film.
Magnolia is probably his most biggest realized film, but I think The Master has the best characters in any of his movies, and I think The Master is his like most like thought-provoking movie to me. I think it's my I'm going to rewatch The Master because I think we're going to do The Master eventually for our director's choice. Master's just kick ass.
You know what blows my mind is that Paul Thomas Anderson was like 26 when he made Boogie Nights, and then 2 years later he made Magnolia. Then he makes Punch Drunk Love, and then he makes There Will Be Blood, and then The Master.
He's just the best.
What?
Well, yeah, Magnolia was his third movie, right? That's absurd. Yeah. That's absurd. But yeah, that's absurd.
He made Heart 8 when he was like 24 or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was really young.
He says he's like in one of like his like few Reddit like stuff he's ever done or interviews in general. He basically said like, what would you like change about Magnolia? He's like, chill the fuck out, cut 15-20 minutes.
Oh, that was in a Reddit thread, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what he would cut though.
I don't know.
There's everything feels like really like purposeful. But yeah, that's all I've been watching. Matt, what is our call to action? Where can we find our podcast?
You find our podcast in your house, on your laptop.
Terrifying.
Or your phone, or your tablet.
Yes. You watch on YouTube, watch us on Spotify, iTunes, Podbean, anywhere you can find the best podcasts in the world. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Comment your favorite film fraud as long as it's me. Join our Scrabbles page. I have to call out one of the guys that comments a lot. He said that he was intimidated by Tyler's bookshelf.
Yeah.
I just need to clarify for that guy to not feel intimidated because Tyler's read like 4 of the books on this bookshelf.
I've read a lot of the books. I've read all the books here. I've read some
Tyler
of the books
conveniently did not say that in his comments. The guy.
Don't talk about it.
What his name is.
It's for aesthetic purposes.
It's Franchise Mutiny who commented that.
Franchise Mutiny, yeah. You should, if anything, you should feel more vindicated in yourself for not having such a massive amount of books that have gone unread.
I went and got 3 more books today for my birthday, so.
What books did you get?
I'm thinking of ending things. I got a James Baldwin book, and I got a Zadie Smith book.
Ooh, which James Baldwin book? I'm meaning to read him.
Go Tell a Mountain. Go Tell a Mountain. I've read his.
Go. Okay.
I've read If Beale Street Could Talk, and so I got his first book because I'm really curious about him.
Yeah.
But what are we doing next week? What's
the great
next?
Prometheus debate.
Yeah, we're doing our Prometheus. What's coming after Prometheus? What is after Prometheus?
And then
It's
it's Tyler's pick.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna choose. We're becoming like a South Korean channel.
Burning?
I'm gonna choose Burning because I'm really curious as to what you guys think. And then my next director's choice. Oh wait, no, it doesn't matter. After that is Nolan, and we're doing Batman Begins.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna make you guys watch Michael Mann movies after Christopher Nolan. I can't wait.
Oh, great.
So that's our episode.
Hey Matt, can you start recommending some like Italian films from Federico Fellini or something?
I haven't seen any Fitter. I've only seen.
I know. Just pick one and recommend it.
Michelangelo Antonioni.
Matt, what do you think the next movie you're gonna recommend is gonna be?
I'm thinking I'm gonna do The Girl with China Tattoo 2011.
The Dave Fincher movie?
Yes.
Wow, interesting. Okay.
Because
Never seen that
I
one.
haven't seen it since middle school, but I remember loving it. And I put it on my top 15 of the decade, and I want to watch it again to make sure that I still feel that way because it's been so long since I've seen it. So I want to do that one. I want to see if it holds up. So that'll probably be my next one.
Interesting. All right. Thank you guys for watching our episode, and I'm gonna get the final word.